only one way to start this off. Boomer! Boomer! I said boomer! Now make some noise!
Hold on now, you forgot one.
Kirk said, hold up.
Michigan! There we go. There we go.
There it is. Welcome to Countdown to College Game Day, presented by Dr. Pepper. And welcome to week 2 of the college football season. We've got a ranked versus ranked matchup right here live from Norman, Oklahoma. The Michigan Wolverines are in town to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. It's going to be a good one. That one tonight. We'll count down to that. And everything else going on in week 2 of college football. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so stinking good.
Christine, you know, Oklahoma had one of the better crowds that we had all of last year, and you guys have not disappointed again. Let's hear it. Hear it for yourselves. Let's go.
Yeah, very happy to be back in Norman. Lyles Jr, Christine Williamson, you already saw the other two guys. HD, Curtis, welcome. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. You guys excited about today? They are. I heard people were out here since 4:30 p.m. yesterday. Who's been out here since yesterday? Yeah, going hard.
But Christine, let me say this. One of the things I've always admired about my boy, we call him CeeLo.
CeeLo, okay.
Oh, he always go dressed to impress. Make some noise for Curtis in his suit.
Well, here's the thing. I put this 3-piece on. Because we're going to win by 3 points today. I'm just going to go ahead and let y'all know. We're winning today.
Okay, 3-piece for 3 points. I love that. Or 3 touchdowns, whatever it is. Okay, Curtis, let's talk about this matchup a little bit because obviously, as I mentioned, Michigan is going to be in town. A lot of hype around their freshman quarterback, Bryce Underwood. What are you looking for this Oklahoma Sooners defense in this matchup tonight?
Well, I think right now for us is we have a great defensive line. We built this team in the trenches. And so I think for Underwood, this is the test to see what he's really about. This is going to be a hostile environment. Can he handle the pressure? Brent Venables, this isn't new to him. You know, we face Vince Young, Reggie McNeil, Seneca Wallace, and so he knows how to deal with the dual threat quarterback, and I think our defensive line is the one that's going to win this game for us.
I would also say this. I think it's imperative for the defense of Oklahoma to win on first and second down. You kind of got to treat Michigan like the teams in the NFL treat the Philadelphia Eagles. If you allow them to get it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, you're pretty much dead in the water. Watching their tape last week, there were multiple times where they had those down and distances, and they ran the football and ran for first down. So if you can get them into 3rd and long situations, and now Brent Venables can do those wonders of the day with his defense, those exotic things that he loves to do, then you can force the young quarterback to make mistakes, in my opinion.
Well, and that's what you want to do with the young quarterback. You want to ease him into the game, let him catch a rhythm and run the ball to take the pressure off him, get him in some 3rd and 2s and 3s to where it could play action. But Oklahoma, as you said, has to win early. And we have to send blitzes. We want to get them behind the chains, and then we like to get into our exotics. If we can do that throughout the game, I like our chances.
You know whose chances I like? I like Oklahoma's because Brent Venables, going back to his days as a defensive coordinator, 21-5 against freshman quarterbacks. I think Bryce Underwood is very good, but when you talk about a defense that's going to bring pressure and intensity in this environment, I like Oklahoma tonight.
Hey, that's why Clemson misses Venables so much. All right, let's talk about the offense for Oklahoma. John Mateer, this is going to be one of the best defenses that he has faced. So, HD, what does he need to do today in order to get a dub?
Some of the same things he did last week. I really love this tape. Quick and decisive reads. Accurate as a quarterback. That lets me know that he does understand the offense through and through, and rightfully so, because his offensive coordinator came from Washington State. Those guys were a package deal. But stay ahead of the chains. But his accuracy and his ball placement allows receivers, tight ends, and even running backs to have what we call YAC, yards after the catch. And what a lot of people sleep on about John Mateer is that he's a dual threat guy. He rushed for over 800 yards last season and 15 touchdowns. So if it's not there, he has the ability to tuck the football, run, and score a touchdown like we've seen last week.
How confident are you in your guy?
I think for me also with the offense with John Mateer is the same thing as Underwood, is you have to run the ball. And so Oklahoma's offensive line's going to have to rise to the occasion. Last week, we didn't really run the ball as well as we should have. And so Blaylock, a young freshman running back, and Xavier, those guys are going to have to step up and get it rolling. But it starts up front with our offensive line. And I'm curious what combination starts the line. We had a couple of guys banged up, and I know those guys are back.
Excited to see if we see Jaden Ott today. And just the way that Michigan played defense last week, 38% of their snaps were in 2 high safeties. That's going to make sure that they're going to limit those explosive plays. I think that, HD, to your point, you talk about Jamatir being a dual threat quarterback. I think that could really open things up for that offense.
I think a tight end, Kanik. If you're going to have the defense of Michigan play 2 high safeties, then that's when your tight end, he's going to have to win one-on-one in the slot and also your slot receiver.
Well, and Kanik, he was a linebacker last year that converted to tight end this year. He's a 4.40. He's definitely going to be a mismatch for those guys.
Okay, I want to talk about a very interesting storyline going into this because Sharon Moore, he was your teammate.
Yes,
here
he was.
In Norman, Oklahoma. So what do you think it's going to be like coming back here and playing against his team?
Well, Sharon, I love him, and I used to always tell him, man, you got a do-rag on. Any offensive lineman that has waves can't block me. And so, but I'm proud of the person he's become, the coach he's become, and teams take on the personality of their coach. And Sharon's always been extremely smart and tough, and that's how he's built that team.
I love that. That's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to see. Have you talked to him at all yet?
I have not. You know, I have a rule, especially when the guys are playing in training camp, I don't bother them when they're working.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, it's going to be beautiful. Before you go, we have to show you something.
Okay.
It's a play. You might be familiar, very, very familiar with it. We have to show you. It's a fumble recovery, if we can see it here. There it is. Oh, 2007.
Give me that.
That's right.
Get on Monday.
Give me that. Give me that.
That's
Chase.
this guy. What do you remember about this play?
Well, I got tired of Jeremy Macklin. They kept running this end around, and where I was at, I couldn't get there, so I called my own number to blitz. And, you know, when that dog's on the line, you know, it gets people scared. And so Chase fumbled the ball, I scooped it up and ran it in. And I remember I was trying to celebrate, and Coach Venables says, hey, we're going right back out there. What are you doing? And I was like, I got you, Coach. Chill. We got this, man.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, we have to do some game picks to close this out. I feel like I already know.
You already know where I'm at.
But give us the case for Oklahoma tonight.
What'd you say now?
Give us the case for you guys winning tonight.
So the case is this. It's old school football. Really, we're looking in a mirror when we're looking at Michigan. And so whoever is going to run the ball, I say whoever runs the ball the best will win this game, and whoever doesn't give up the most explosive, which is the basic thing that everyone knows. And so for Oklahoma, turnovers and special teams. And I would say whoever the best kicker is, this game will be decided by 3 points.
All right, Lyles, who you got?
I think the missing of Jayshon Barham for the first half of this game is really going to play into the hands of Oklahoma. I think that they end up winning this by at least a touchdown. I would say 10-14 even. I'm just confident in what they're doing with Jamatir in this offense. I think that you're going to see a similar transfer success story. We've seen it with Cam Ward. We've seen it with Joe Burrow. We've seen it with a lot of guys. I think that this is the year that Oklahoma finally puts it all together, and you're going to see, again, and Brent Venables, this defense, they play tough. Like, that identity is not missing, and we've seen that from Oklahoma teams of the past that have won national championships. So now it's on this offense to show, hey, we're going to take the next step, and I think that they show that tonight with a win.
So let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I love everything that I witnessed last week with the Michigan Wolverines. Bryce Underwood, he's a guy that's going to be a first-round draft pick. I love the way they ran the football with Justice Hayes. Give me Boomer Sooner!
Wow, I feel like this is bad. We can't go chalk.
You saved us last week.
I did save you guys last week. I think, here's the thing. I didn't go to Oklahoma, but I did go to Clemson, South Carolina. And Brent Venables, he's still my guy. The defense here is too crazy. Bryce Underwood is going to be overwhelmed by what they do on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going to choose Boomer Sooner as well. We're all choosing Oklahoma. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but hopefully it works out for you guys.
So let me say this. We got to do it one more time before Curtis Lofton leaves. Boomer!
Sooner!
Boomer!
Sooner!
Michigan!
Sucks!
Okay.
All right, can't wait to see it. That game is tonight at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much, Curtis. Good luck tonight. Time now for Get More Game Day, presented by Geico. So obviously we know that this Oklahoma football team is really good, but Oklahoma Gymnastics is also really good. This year the Sooners won their 7th national title in the last 11 years. Jess Sims hung out with the team yesterday. Check this out.
this looks expensive. I'll tell you this much. Like, this room means business. Oh my gosh, I want to come here. Hey, y'all, I'm here at the brand new Sam Viersen Center, and this place is absolutely incredible. Audrey, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it actually just opened for all of us gymnasts. It's 16,000 square feet, and that includes the lounge, which is amazing, the recovery room, which everybody's gonna be utilizing every single day, and then the brand new weight room for everybody to be able to do their conditioning there.
Well, you're speaking my language, but ladies, I have a question for you. Are you ready to have some uncomfortable conversations?
Yes.
Let's go. Holy.
Yes.
Oh my God, make sure I don't fall backwards. If you didn't do gymnastics, what other sport would you have done?
Probably diving. A lot of my friends have done diving.
Wow, that was very sassy the way that you just did that. What is the top song on your hype playlist right now?
Probably I Love It by Charlie.
I loved what you just did. Teach me your ways, wow. What celebrity would you want to see at your competition?
Paige Beckers.
Oh, that's my girl. She would love to come, oh my gosh. Which college game day personality would stick the best landing?
Nick Saban.
That was epic! That was so f***ing epic! Ladies, that was uncomfortable. It's time to recover.
All right, so as we know, Oklahoma is taking on Michigan tonight. That one at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. As we are now joined by our guy, Stanford Steve, the first time this season.
Yeah.
Hello,
Man, get
sir.
one more
How
scalp
are
up
you?
in here, man. Come
Thought I
on.
got cut last
know.
week. I didn't make
You
the
did.
53.
I need to join the club.
Come on now.
Shave it off. Shave it off. Okay, so we're going to play a little game of Buy or Sell. So obviously week one, there were a lot of good storylines and bad storylines. When you think about Arch Manning, Bill Belichick, UNC, obviously those were not so
good,
good.
too.
What?
There's a lot of good, but you guys.
There was a lot of good. Yeah, we're buying and selling. There was also some good stuff. Shout out to my Miami Hurricanes. But let's do some buy or sell on whether or not we fall into some of these storylines. Kalen DeBoer will not last the season at Alabama. Do you buy that or sell that, HC?
I'm going to sell that right now because there's this thing called a $70 million buyout. I just don't think they're going to move on from Kalen DeBoer that fast, even though things looked so atrocious last week versus Florida State. A big game this week versus Louisiana Monroe. But other big games throughout the season, they're going to have to win because we all know that fan base. We heard everyone call on the Paul Feinbaum show and express their feelings about Kalen DeBoer and how it's been in his tenure so far at Alabama. But I'm going to go ahead and sell that. It won't happen this season.
I'm going to sell it too. I just think what we do now is totally overreact, and I get it. They look like trash. But I also got to give credit to Florida State, who really came out and balled out. And again, I understand people don't want to hear this now. You still have your whole conference schedule to play. You have plenty of room for improvement. I still look at the first couple games if teams don't want to hear it. But it's kind of preseason mode still. Like coaches with all these transfers, there's only a certain amount of contact allowed in practice. And you guys know, guys are different in practice and games. Some guys rise up when the lights are on. And you got to figure that out. It just sucks that they had to do it at Florida State. So I give them time.
All right, the next one. Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the country. Steve,
I'm going to sell.
Okay.
Again, there's other guys. Right now, maybe, but I still look at John Mateer with an opportunity. Nussmeier was great. He's got plenty of toys to play with. He still takes a lot of chances, and I don't think he has to this year because they have a defense, so I'm going to sell that right now.
Yeah, I think I would too. One game sample size, right? Like we got a whole lot of football to be played. I think we have a good idea of what a lot of different guys could bring to the table. Mateer is one, again, it feels like he is set up for success in a way that could be huge. I still think that way about Cade Klubnik. I mean, I think that he was going up against a good LSU defense week one. Everything is sort of volatile, right? We kind of don't know what everybody's showing, so I think there's still a lot more time for us to see that.
So I am also going to sell that because I think that's going to be Lenore Sellers. I think he's going to be able to do more with less at South Carolina than the other quarterbacks across the country.
I would hope so, because that would be exciting as hell, wouldn't it?
All right, let's talk about another quarterback, Mike. Miami is the best team in the ACC. Are you buying or selling that?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Right now, they are serious on the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And when you have that, which we know what Mario Cristobal wants to have,
Right.
you let everything else fill out. They were super quiet about what the toys were that Beck has to play with, and boy, the receivers showed out. True freshmen, transfers. They lost their top 6 pass catchers from last year.
Yeah.
So, and Beck didn't do spring ball, and they looked on point against what I think is the best secondary in the country in Notre Dame. So I put Miami up there, yeah.
I'm going to buy that as well. As much as it pains me being a Louisville alum, the biggest question for the Miami Hurricanes I had coming in was Carson Beck and how the rapport with those receivers and what it was going to look like. I was pretty damn impressed week 1 versus Notre Dame, and I agree with you. I believe Notre Dame has the best secondary in the country, and they ran routes, Chris, and got open left and right all night long.
Yeah, I'm buying for me and I'm buying for you too, because obviously it's Miami Hurricanes. I think, look, the ACC it has the chance to be a deep league. I think you could look at a lot of teams, even your Louisville Cardinals, and say, like, all right, like, there's a lot of teams that could win this conference similar to the Big 12. We're just not talking about it in that way because we didn't have the surprise, really, that we did last time. Go ahead and see.
Yeah, I just look at the ACC this year. I think the top teams are even better.
Yes.
Than they were. Obviously,
exactly.
we got some bottom teams in there.
Yeah.
But Miami, Florida State, you got to put them in there now. Clemson.
I look at Georgia Tech.
Really, Georgia Tech, Louisville.
Yep.
As long as they keep getting better.
SMU.
We haven't even seen them today, play anybody. So, yeah, I think the upper tier of the ACC is way improved this year.
We'll talk a little bit about Florida State and a little bit more about them in a little bit, but let's talk about Arch Manning. Are you buying or selling that they will still go to the CFP with Arch?
I'm going to buy that.
Okay.
I'm going to buy that. I look at that, when you talk to the people at Texas, it felt like they have a lot of guys that they're confident in. They didn't want to thrust them into that atmosphere at Ohio State. They knew what they were up against, and now they get 3 games before they go to the Swamp in the first weekend of October. So I believe Texas still has everything. I'd like to see a little more separation from the receivers.
That part.
But, the way Sark involves tight ends, it was great to see Baxter. I think he's a home run threat that they missed last year. I'm going to buy that Texas goes to the playoffs.
So I'm going to buy it as well, and just like Steve just mentioned, that was the biggest surprise to me in week 1 versus Ohio State, outside of Arch Manning, is the lack of separation that the wide receivers had. I was high on that group coming into the season. I need to see a lot more, not a little bit, I need to see a lot more from that group, from route running, getting open, making contested catches, and fine-tuning the details of the game. Because I'll be honest with you, that interception, the first one by Arch Manning, I would say this, as a former wide receiver, can I get that receiver to come downhill to the football like the DB did? And it's an easy completion. So those are the little things that I think that Texas have to fine-tune to be able to get to that point.
He's only going to get better.
Yes, and the other thing, too, about this Texas team, this defense has maybe 2 of the 15 best players in all of college football, and Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill. So, that defense is going to win you a couple games, too. Even if Arch still has time he needs to figure it out. So I think Texas is going to be all right.
Okay, we talked about the good teams in the ACC. Let's talk about one that didn't look so good this past weekend, and that was North Carolina. Are you buying or selling that Bill Belichick, or that North Carolina will regret hiring Bill Belichick?
I'm going to sell that. I still think he prides himself in player development. I think being on the sidelines and seeing the first time they punted, I'm like, whoa, they don't have a lot of size. Like the size of the roster. And this is what we are in now. 70 new players. You really don't know what you have. You bring in a quarterback that you're paying, but Max Johnson comes in and looks way better. Sounds like they're going to go back to Gio. They got to figure things out. They do have a manageable schedule. Every team in the ACC would beg to have Carolina's schedule. They don't play any of the top teams. Or they play Clemson, but that's it. So I look, there's still room for improvement, and for Bill to put his footprint on this, I'll sell that theory.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that as well. All the great coaches that I've always been around, they said this: yes, I was great in coaching, but I had to have great players to put me on this pedestal.
Right.
North Carolina right now, they don't have great players.
No.
So just give Bill Belichick some time to be able to recruit his guys and get those players in there, and I think we're going to see a different tune.
Yeah, I would sell that, you could ever regret trying. It's Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah.
I do think that the challenging thing, though, is that makes this different. And, I meet with coaches every week, twice a week, because of the Thursday night games, and we always try to, get their perspective on, this new age college football and the things that have to go into it and everything like that. To me, this is just so much more complicated for him to come into, to figure out in 1 or even 2 years. This might take 3 to 4 years for him to really figure out, just because of how different the landscape is, and it's still changing.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, finally, Florida State. Are we buying or selling that they can make it to the playoff this season?
If they can, I'm buying that.
Yeah.
I had a struggle. I still had Clemson ranked ahead of Florida State in my rankings, and I made a mistake. Because when you look at who was more impressive in one game, it's Florida State. And you can put them up there with anybody in the country. We just talked about figuring things out. Mike Norvell totally struck out last year in his transfer portal. Now he hit some home runs, and you saw him. Malzahn, being the OC, might be the best one. When we know the history with him and a quarterback. Castellanos is perfect for that system. They are a dangerous threat to make the playoffs.
So I'm buying this as well, and here's the difference in week 1 that I loved about Florida State that I did not like about Clemson. Well, they got blitzed, Clemson that is, versus LSU a lot, and they never had an answer for it.
Yeah.
Well, the Florida State Seminoles, they had all kind of answers versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I am buying Florida State.
I'm buying it as well, man. I had a good feeling about this with Tommy Castellanos, and I'll tell you, I was in the room when Florida State got left out of the playoff. And I saw how Mike Norvell spoke to that team and just the leadership that he had. And I said it on Around the Horn the Monday after. I'm like, if you are a Seminoles fan, you are lucky to have that man as your head coach. Yeah. Obviously, last year did not go well. They figured it out. But I would say Tommy is one of the toughest players that I've ever watched in person. Him, Ty Lavatai that used to play at Navy, and Dylan Gabriel are 3 guys where I looked at and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're willing to die out here for their teammates. And now that he is surrounded by more talent at Florida State, I think that they could go to the playoff, yes.
All right, that's a good one. ACC is really good this season. Very excited to see it. Steve, excited to see you as well.
Do you like talking about Florida State?
No, that's why I just said I love to see it. There's an asterisk next to that. No, I don't. Steve, good to see you. Oklahoma, you got them tonight?
By a field goal.
Okay.
There you go.
Read between that.
Okay, love it.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
We'll see you later. All right, so the matchup here tonight is the only ranked versus ranked matchup, just one, after we had 3 last week to open the season.
Right,
so here are some of the marquee matchups to watch today.
Ready?
Let's start talking about Ole Miss taking on Kentucky in the first SEC matchup of the season. HD, what does the Rebels quarterback situation look like post Jackson and Garth?
So I love it. Austin Simmons is a guy that's going to be playing on Sundays. You talk about a guy who was on the Ole Miss Rebels baseball team, struck out the number 3 overall pick in the 2024 MLB draft, came into that ball game last year versus the University of Georgia when Jackson Dart had to come out and led them down the field to their first touchdown drive. The kid is poised, the young man is hungry, and he can make every single throw on the football field. And I promise you, a lot more people are going to be talking about Austin Simmons this season before it's over.
This guy's good at TV. That was a really good little analogy there at the beginning.
100%.
Great job. All right, let's go to Ames, Iowa, our favorite horn place. The Cy-Hawk Bowl. The Red Teams won last 5 in a row in the matchup. Who has the edge today, Lyles?
We got it Cy-Hawk in there. We're not calling it El Asico, you know?
We should.
I mean, we did it a couple years ago. Look, I think that this is going to be a really, really fun one. That line is awfully close. Mark Gronowski, I think, left a little bit more to be desired in that first week that they played. Obviously, you're going to have some jitters coming up playing from South Dakota State. But I love what we've seen from Iowa State so far. That impressive win that they had over Kansas State and Dublin, and then their win last week as well. Rocco Becht has looked really good. I think that this team is going to have a little bit too much for Iowa. I think Iowa's still got some figuring out to do. That's not to say that they won't still be able to make the playoff, because if you win, 10, 11 games in the Big Ten, you probably go make the playoff.
Yeah.
So I am going to go with Iowa State, even though Iowa has won the last 6 in Ames. So we'll see.
Wow.
I miss Ames and all the corn that was there. All right, let's
Barbecue
go to
too.
Florida, our favorite state. South Florida is coming off a big win over Boise State and is going to Gainesville for a matchup against 13th-ranked Gators. HD, are you expecting the Bulls to give the Gators a scare today?
I do. When I look at South Florida, number 1, Alex Golesh has done a nice job as a head coach. And for their administration, last week they had number 25 Boise State. This week they have number 13 Florida. Next week they have number 5 Miami. They aren't scared to play people. But this is a different football team. The quarterback position means everything. But for the University of Florida, they have a big matchup next week versus LSU.
Yep.
Don't look ahead to LSU in that matchup before you handle your business today versus South Florida.
Yes, I had that USF Boise State game last week.
Yeah.
And when we spoke with Spencer Danielson, head coach of Boise State, he said, hey, that Byron Brown, 17, the quarterback, he's going to be the best player that we face this season on either side of the football. That dude is going to be playing on Sunday. And you saw it in some of those clips there. He will truck you back, right? So, look, playing against the Florida Gators is going to be different size, speed, talent-wise than it is against Boise State. But I can tell you there is a lot of talent, a lot of graduates, redshirt seniors, a lot of experience on that South Florida team. That's a young man team. There ain't no kids on there. So it's going to be a tough one for Florida today.
But I would also say this, South Florida the last 2 or 3 years, they have given a lot of big programs some dogfights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember, it was Alabama a few years ago that they were in a dogfight with and actually could have beat them before turning the football over and Alabama finally finding their groove.
Yeah, Florida can't sleep on that matchup. Time now for Fansville Advantage presented by Dr. Pepper. We have a renewed rivalry today as Kansas and Missouri play the border war. For the first time since 2011, the series, which dates back to 1891, has been on pause ever since Mizzou left the SEC. Both fan bases are hyped. So it got us thinking, what rivalries would you like to see be renewed, Lyles?
Oh, man, you know, a lot of them are up in the Northeast here. Like Penn State needs to be playing Pitt every year. Penn State needs to be playing West Virginia every year, which they did reignite the last couple of years. Obviously, we're going to lose the backyard brawl again after this year. So ones like that, I think about USC, Notre Dame, too, trying to keep some of those traditional ones as realignment continues to happen with college football. I just want to keep our rivalries, man. That's what makes our sport great.
I think the biggest ones for me are the in-state rivalries. So Penn State versus Pitt. When I think of Florida, Florida State, when I think of Louisville, Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, those in-state rivalries hold a lot more weight in my opinion. So I would love to see Penn State versus Pitt.
And Christine versus mascots. We got to keep those intact.
Definitely,
you know what I mean? We really didn't even do that last year, but we had a plenty, guys, let me tell you, from 2023. If you want to go back and look at the YouTube archives, go see when we were Oregon. Who are they playing, UCLA?
Yes.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Mascots and Christine and Bees don't get together.
They're insane. Why don't their faces move? That's weird.
It's because it's a mascot.
Like statues are weird, and mascots are
real,
freaking
Christine.
weird.
That's why.
All right, Dr. Pepper is making college dreams come true with the 2025 Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway. Visit drpeppertuition.com to learn how to enter for a chance to compete to win up to $100,000. All right, we now welcome in former South Dakota State wide receiver. He was also recently on Bachelor in Paradise. Dale Moss is here. You played basketball as well. You did it all. I heard you saying that in the group
basketball
earlier.
And football player at South Dakota State. So I heard you talking about Gymnastics earlier. So that's my guy. A lot of talent there.
Oh my gosh, love that. So I don't know if you know this, but we have a lot of Bachelor people on our show, so you're definitely a friend of the show. Okay, so since you are into love and finding love, we figured it would be a good time for us to talk about some of the best duos, like the matches made in heaven in college football. I'm going to let you start. Who are some matches that you like watching in college football?
I got to start with Arizona State. Sam Leavitt and Jordan Tyson. No awkward moments, nothing but chemistry right away. And if anyone wasn't thinking about them as one of the top duos in the country, everyone's talking about them now. Damn. Never a dull moment here.
How did
never a dull moment
jump from that? That was wild. Thank you guys.
That was fantastic.
That was amazing. Very scary. Anyway, how did you guys? Nobody else reacted.
No, I mean, I did too. Hey, man, it's 2025. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just through the ringer recently, so we're good.
Running a zigzag pattern, you know.
I didn't hear you. Did you finish?
Yeah, so I was saying Arizona State, Sam Leavitt, and Jordan Tyson. There was nothing but chemistry right away, no awkward moments, and that's a dark horse pairing that everyone in the country is going to take notice on now.
Perfect. HJ, who you got?
So I'm going to go with two wide receivers that I brought up last week, and I told everyone to watch out for. C.J. Daniels and Malachi Tony for the Miami Hurricanes. 11 catches, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns between the two guys, but they both did a great job on third down, hitting open and providing those avenues for the quarterback to be able to get to the football. So those two guys are going to have a magnificent season, and this won't be the only week, last week, that they made plays. They're going to make plays all year long.
Man, I'm going with Bees, Georgia Tech. I know you don't like them. I'm going with Jamal Haynes, running back at Georgia Tech, and Haynes King, quarterback. Haynes and Haynes should be a law firm when they get done playing. You know what I mean? But I think those guys are going to be playing on Sundays. That team, that offense, how tough they are. Brent Key, that offensive line is young, but there's some bullies on there. When those two are healthy, it's impossible to stop that team. You would know that because they they beat your Miami Hurricanes last year in Midtown Atlanta. You know what I mean? So I'm going with Haynes and Haynes. And they did it 2 years in a row, Christine. Don't trip.
Why are we talking about? Look at what they did.
Hey, I'm not getting into this. Y'all got to work that out.
It's a part of his analysis.
Okay, anyways, let's talk about another team that I like but did lose last week. That is Clemson. Cade Klubnik and Dabo Swinney has been very fun to watch. Obviously, Cade grow into his role there at Clemson. Now, yes, we did lose last week, but I do just want to say, before we finish this, The real Death Valley is in South Carolina.
Say we. You speaking French?
The real Death Valley is in Clemson, South Carolina. I don't care that they lost to LSU last week. Any thoughts, Dale?
I just thought it was odd that you say it's the real Death Valley and they could not run the football last week at home.
Ain't a whole lot of death in that valley.
Nope.
Yeah,
it was death.
Actually, they literally did die.
By the Clemson offensive line.
They literally did die. Okay, so we have a matchup tonight. Michigan, obviously, here in Norman, Oklahoma. It's the only ranked versus ranked game of this week. Who do you got?
I mean, I got Oklahoma.
Okay.
I got Oklahoma. If the defensive line is able to get pressure on the quarterback, that's a major thing. You've got a freshman quarterback coming in here, a hostile environment. I think they're going to show up and have the energy, and it's going to be tough for them to lose here.
Love to hear it. Finally, what's going on with you?
I'm just living life. I just got done with the finale of Paradise, but things are really, really good going on. So, but this is amazing being
Is this
here.
your first game day?
This is my second college game day, but this one, I've never experienced it like this.
Yeah.
So whenever I can stay connected with sports, obviously football is my love, and just hanging with y'all, that's everything, right? How am I so lucky?
Do you have a team that you root for outside of yours?
I mean, in the college game, obviously I follow my university, but there's been so much change up, right? Georgia, though, I got a lot of family down in Georgia. I follow Georgia very, very heavily, and I don't know. I just across the board. I just love the sport. I just love watching these talented athletes.
But you just like to see great football, right?
I love great football, and everyone thinks I should always have this team that I'm rooting for, and I just love the game, and I love seeing the development of players. And these athletes right now are so talented and so gifted. And also college football, in my opinion, is more exciting than ever because you never know from season to season what team's going to shine.
Yeah.
And then but Ohio State, I got to say Ohio State too because Jeremiah Smith, he's the truth.
Yeah,
he is the truth.
He definitely is. All right, guys, this has been very fun, Dale. Thank you for hanging out with us. Get excited for college football tonight. 7:30, this matchup, Michigan taking on Oklahoma. Any other thoughts, Lyles? Oh, that's a good tie.
Hey, man.
I just realized how good his tie is.
Quit playing champagne.
Beautiful. Any other thoughts, HD? Any other thoughts?
No, I just want to see our Mason Thomas, Marvin Jones Jr. really assert themselves on the defensive line for Oklahoma to really try to stop that rushing attack of Michigan. That's what I want to see tonight.
All right, it's going to be a good one. Week 2 of the college football season is
loud,
today.
boy. It is loud out here.
It is very loud.
Boomer Sooner,
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Boomer Sooner, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching Countdown to College Game Day presented by Dr. Pepper.
Holler.